Tonight's episode of Canoehounds Outdoor Adventure Show is brought to you by Kid Products, stick stoves and reflector ovens proudly made in Canada. Algonquin Outfitters, with 5 key locations in and around Algonquin Park to serve your backcountry needs. Salis Marine, keeping you safe on the water since 1999. Ostrom Outdoors, custom fit canoe packs and barrel harnesses. Badger Paddles, handcrafted canoe paddles made to order. And Novacraft Canoes, connecting you with nature in Canadian-made canoes since 1970.
Well, happy Tuesday evening and welcome back to another episode of Canoehounds Outdoor Adventure Show. In fact, this is the season finale of season 5 of Canoehounds Outdoor Adventure Show. You know what? This show continues to bring you a lot closer to the great outdoors. So hopefully you've been enjoying yourself over this past season and with whatever the future holds for this show. This is episode 161. Hard to believe, man. 161 episodes of this here, and it's been a real ride. A lot of fun, a lot of great topics, a lot of great guests that we've had on the show, and tonight's going to be no exception. There, as we do a recap of season 5, Kevin Callan will be joining us here in a few short moments, and we're going to be joined by a couple of past guests from the show just to get caught up a little bit. But we're going to try to go through the season pretty much show by show. Maybe you missed a couple shows. It might be a good idea to put a reminder to go back and watch them in our past episodes playlist. Just to let you know, I am battling a bit of a head cold. Just got back from Naganash Provincial Park on a weekender here on this long weekend, and come home with an awful head cold and chest cold. I don't know how the heck I caught it out there, but my wife's been under the weather, and maybe I caught it before I went away. Who knows, right? But regardless, I am going to be popping Fisherman's Friend all night, drinking some coffee, some tea, and just trying to nurse this. I might have to put the mic on mute a few times there to blow my nose or what have you, but I will be here for the entire portion of the show here. So thanks to everybody for tuning in tonight. Just want to go over a few announcements, as I always do, while the chat over there populates. Let's see here. Last week, if you happen to miss last week's show, it was quite the star-studded event. We had Cliff Jacobson, we had Kevin Callan on, and Kevin Ride, who is the author of Backcountry Eats and very knowledgeable about bears. And basically, we were discussing, bear food storage or storage in the backcountry to try and prevent bears from coming in. The U.S. Forest Services just recently implemented a law in the Boundary Waters canoe area that you have to hang your food 12 feet up, 6 feet out. And there's a lot of people that are very unhappy about this because in some places it's just not possible. And they're throwing out fines of like $5,000 if you're caught, and up to 6 months in jail. So it's a pretty serious thing that they're trying to take on and battle there right now. But ultimately, what we did with last week's show is we tried to educate people as to, some of the best techniques to store your food, what to do to maintain a clean, safe campsite to keep yourself relatively bear-free out there. And it could happen that bears come through your site. You're in the backcountry and it happens. We happened to see a bear here in Naganash this past weekend. It was well away from our campsite, but they are out there and they're wandering around. So just be safe. Be smart and store your food properly. Try to store it as odor-free as possible, and never, ever, ever go to sleep with a granola bar in your pocket. You're just asking for trouble. Anyways, if you missed last week's show, you can check that out on our past episodes playlist. Just an update on the future of Canoehounds Outdoor Adventure Show. As we mentioned here, this is the season 5 finale, and I've had a lot of people asking me, is there going to be a season 6? And I will venture to say, yes, there's going to be a season 6, but there's going to be a lot of changes. First off, between now and September, keep your eyes open on our Facebook page at Canoehounds Outdoor Adventure Show, because there may be some shows that come drifting in through the summer if the proper topics or the proper guests come available. Something I haven't done in the past. Usually I take September to May, or September to May is our time, and then anything beyond May to September is my off time and when I get to go out and play. So keep your eyes open, because there may be the odd drifting show. It'll be sort of like season 5A, right, or 5B or 5.1. But next year, the schedule is probably going to change a little bit. There will still remain on Tuesday evenings if that allows, but the shows might be a little more sporadic every week or two. It's extremely difficult for somebody like myself, one person, to be able to put together shows, seek out guests and topics, do the research, put the show together, produce it, and then come to air on Tuesday nights. It's a really daunting task for one person. Back in the day when earlier days when we started this with COVID and stuff like that, I had all the time in the world. But being a business owner, family man, grandpa, it's a little more difficult for me to be able to devote all that time to putting together a regular program. But I really do want to keep this going because I absolutely love putting across Canoehounds Outdoor Adventure Show to everybody. I've met so many great people, and I've learned so much over the last 5 years that it's utterly, yeah, it's just incredible. It's incredible, and due in part to all of you over there in the chat. You guys and gals have shown me the best support. I couldn't ask for a better audience than what I have on a regular basis. To see so many names in that chat over there every single week. Thank you to all of you. Let's see here. Oh, channel members. For those of you that are channel members, you can expect a couple of private live streams over the summer. Just little things that are updates, maybe talk about some canoeing stuff, just things to say hi, let you know I'm still alive, and so I can see that you're still alive. And if I put out a private live stream for channel members, you will get your notifications through YouTube. And I will also post that onto my Facebook page again. That's really the Facebook page, Canoehounds Outdoor Adventure Show, is really going to be a great communication portal between all of us. So keep an eye open for that. That time of the night where I absolutely have to and love to thank all my channel supporters, all these people who are channel members floating across the bottom of the screen. If I happen to miss somebody floating across the bottom of the screen, I truly apologize. But like I say, I was away at Naganosh for 4 days and didn't have a chance really to get caught up. That's why I even posted this live stream late, just because I was preparing for a canoe trip, right? Got to get out there and play. But we do have a few memberships who are reaching significant milestones. 48 months. That's 4 years as channel members. We have Derek LaPointe and Schultz Outdoors. That's incredible, guys. Thank you very much for your patronage there. At 24 months, we have somebody who's always buying channel memberships for others as gifts. That would be Santa Malashchek, or Christian Malashchek is his real name is. But congratulations to you, and thank you very much for 24 months of channel membership. At 12 months, we have Dwayne B. Did I see Dwayne B? Is he in the chat tonight? If he is, yeah, he is too. There you are, Dwayne. I see you in the chat there. Thanks very much. You just hit the 12-month mark as a channel member. And then, of course, at 6 months, Thunderbox Diaries just hit the 6-month mark. So thank you very much to all of you. And that's like not just them people, but everybody that's floating across the bottom of the screen here. Thank you very much for your channel memberships. Without you, and I say this weekly, I don't like to ask for donations or anything like that, because just, if you can do it, you can do it. If you can't, you can't. But if anybody wants to be a channel member, just got to hit that join button down below and become a channel member. There's a bunch of different levels, whatever works, or you can buy me a coffee or anything like that. But if you're not able to, I fully understand. It's absolutely awesome. But any money that does come into the channel basically comes right back out to you by way of paying for memberships, for live streaming, and all these different things. It buys me coffee for Let's Take a Dip. And yeah, it's always some really good things that it goes into. So that's really good. I was mentioning the Buy Me a Coffee. I have to thank Steve Bentley and Beauty of the Backcountry. They're regular coffee contributors. And it's that time. Let's take a dip, everybody. I had somebody ask me what the significance of this Let's Take a Dip is, and you can see very, very, very faintly on the paddle there is my Canoehound logo. It was something I put out there that's available, and if anybody wants one, reach out to me, and I can set you up to get one of these bad boys. But I didn't want it to be all obtrusive with the Canoehound logo and stuff like that. Anyways, we do have some birthday wishes to go out. First off, a happy birthday to my good paddling buddy. I call him Scouter Dave. He's gotten to be a really good friend over the last little while. He's celebrating his 60th birthday tomorrow. Dave Knott. Dave, happy birthday to you, man. Look forward to, I believe we're getting together for a little Christmas Christmas birthday bash for you this weekend. So hopefully that wasn't a surprise. If it is, I just got it right out. Anyways, Jess Corbeil from Rain Dance Bushcraft. He's another live stream that follows my live stream here at 9 o'clock. Happy birthday to Jess. Somebody who's really predominant in Southern Ontario Bushcraft Society there, Wolf Starchild from Barefoot Bushcraft. He's celebrating a birthday, I believe, today, as is Jess Corbeil. And then, of course, another really good friend of mine, somebody who I love to get out fishing with and stuff like that, a real prankster, a real joker. And he's the guy who set me up with the farmer where I actually have my my day camp. Bill Brown, it's his birthday coming up as well. So happy birthday to you, Bill. Thanks for a great friendship. You're an awesome dude. You're an awesome dude. And then, of course, last but not least, if anybody has any hot topics, you know what, whether it's now or guests that they'd like to see on the show throughout the summer or leading into season 6, please do drop me an email at canoehound@gmail.com. Sometimes people get news before I do. And you know what, if you get the email out to me as that, something might be coming up, I would love to. Those would be the kind of shows we could put out through the summertime as well, so that everybody has that opportunity to check things out. So yeah. And there's one more thing I need to do before I invite Kevin Callan, my co-host for tonight, on the panel. I really need to throw a huge thank you to my channel sponsors. It's with their support and encouragement that this show has been continuing to roll on. They've always given lots of great prizes for our big swag giveaways and stuff like that. They see the importance of this type of a community that we've built, and it's the type of community that they fit right within. And I want to rest assured to everybody that if I do promote, even in my commercials and stuff, you see all the channel or all the companies that sponsor the channel, and not one of them companies. First off, they're all Canadian companies, right? And secondly, not one of them companies is not a product or service that I have not used for multiple years. Every single one of them, I firmly believe in their brand. I would not bring you a brand that or an item or a service or something like that I am not 100% confident in myself. So rest assured, if you shop with any of these vendors or go to them to buy gear or whatever it might be, rest assured you're going to be getting number one quality, number one sales support, and just a great experience through all of them. So, and I have to list them all off. Novacraft Canoes, they've been a channel sponsor now for 3 years. I've been paddling a Novacraft canoe for over 25 years. I've never, well, I shouldn't say that. Before 25 or 26 years ago, I did have a couple of different canoes, but when I bought my first Novacraft, I knew I was going to have one for life, and I have ever since. Ostrom Outdoors, they've been sponsoring the channel for 1 year. I've struck up a really good friendship with Bill and Ann Ostrom. They're fantastic people, very devoted to the backcountry, and I have been using their packs for over 25 years. Big Red, I call them Big Red. This weekend I got to try out Big Red 2, equally as impressive for a backpack. So if anybody's in the market for a backpack, by all means check out Ostrom Outdoors. Salis Marine, they've been 2 years a sponsor here on the show. I've been using their PFDs for over 7 years. Absolutely love the fit. I have 2 of their Ungavas, and one's red, one's gray, and I absolutely love it. And in fact, I have one for Molly, the dog, too. So my dog. So I have that much confidence in it. Kid Products, they've been 3-year sponsors, been using their products for just over 4 years now. Struck up a great friendship with these guys, of course, as well. And the boys over at Kid Products are just that. They're great guys. They're great guys, and they have a really cool product. And it might be a niche product, but it's great quality nonetheless. This past weekend up at Noganash, we brought the reflector oven, and we were cooking pizzas out there in the backcountry. How much better can you get than that, right? That's awesome. Badger Paddles, 2-year sponsors, been using their paddles for over 5 years now. Absolutely love their paddles. And then, of course, Algonquin Outfitters. What is a trip past Huntsville or towards Algonquin Park if you don't stop in Algonquin Outfitters in Huntsville? You know what? I've been purchasing stuff from them online, in store. Made great friendships with some of the sales staff there, management and such. And if you want to talk to people that know their stuff and also know a lot about Algonquin Park and shuttling and whatever it might be, trip planning, gear, they're the ones to reach out to. So Algonquin Outfitters for the win. All right. Thanks to all these companies and what you do for the outdoor community here. So, anyways, I'm gonna invite Kevin Callan up here in a very short moment. I know this has been really long-winded, but it is the season finale, and I have a lot of thank yous, and justifiably so. But if you have any questions tonight, please do put them in the chat. But you know what? At the end of the show, or after our swag giveaway, which there is a swag giveaway tonight, after our swag giveaway, maybe I'll put the link in, and I would love to hear you come up and let us know what one of your favorite episodes was and why, or what you may have learned, or what have you taken out of Canoehounds Outdoor Adventure Show. It's a great way for me to learn what I'm doing right, what I might be doing wrong, what I could do to improve, and I'd really love to hear your feedback. So without further ado, let's bring Kevin up here on panel, and let's get off to this evening and just do a recap of season 5. Kevin, how are you? There's my favorite hat, man.
Here's the big thing. We got a lot of decisions to make for the season, but because I had skin cancer taken off the side of my face last year, Christine said you need a wide brim hat because I usually bring or pack a baseball cap.
Yeah.
When I went into surgery, the surgeon said, "Do you wear a baseball cap?" Yes, I do. Anyway, but it gets hot. It gets hot. All right.
Yeah.
So she said I should wear this. Now I took this out of the lake in 1993. I found this floating in the lake, so I took it out, put on. Actually, no, we didn't have social media back then. But anyways, I tried to find out who owned it.
Yeah,
but I kept it, and I'm looking pretty sexy, I think, in this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You kill anything, man.
No, Gilligan's Island. When you watch Gilligan's Island, who did you want to have sex with? It wasn't Gilligan.
No.
Anyway, we should do a toll of who. Yeah, we'll do that.
I'm Team Marianne. I was Team Marianne. Yeah.
Or
you're Mrs. Powell, right?
Yes, Mrs. Powell was hot. Or I got this one. I got this on sale.
Yeah, that looks good on you. Got
a chin strap, so if the wind's like blowing. Oh, I found this one today. I haven't worn it because I haven't even take the tag off yet.
I like the one before, previous, the brown one. Yep.
Really?
I got a Tilly hat. You have a Tilly hat.
Cool. Yeah. What hat should Kevin wear so he doesn't get skin cancer again?
That one right there, man. It covers everything.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Your ears are well covered. Back of your neck. Yeah. That's why I like my Tilly hat too. So
how about just a baseball cap? Really? Okay.
I know. Yeah. I tend to wear my baseball cap mostly too.
Just slice it off again like pizza.
So Kevin, over this past season, man, you've been very helpful. You've been on the show a whole number of times, and
more than I thought. I would get a call and say, "Oh, Dennis, I'm sick again, Kevin." Really? Are you a walking COVID man or what?
I know, right? Yeah. I don't know, man. I've had a bad 6 months here of illnesses, just colds. I must be missing something out of my diet 100%. I'm going to have to, and I drink chaga tea every single day. Single day.
But you have grandkids.
Yeah. And I can't get enough of them. And they're always like, we've got those streamers coming down.
Yeah, I love you.
Yeah. Rubbing their nose on my couch. Yeah, I know. Yeah. But so I thought no more fitting than to have you on the show tonight so we could kind of do a recap of the season. This is the 25th episode of this season. So we got 24. We started with our season 5 premiere, which you were on. And basically we just chatted about the season that was to come. There was a lot of stuff that was going to happen throughout the season. A great lineup of guests and topics as we've always had. And you bring so much knowledge to the table when it comes to this stuff.
Oh, or just bullshit coming out. I don't know if it's called knowledge, whatever. My daughter goes, "Dad, You have to, broaden your horizons. Like, for the love of God.
Does your daughter watch this show?
No, but her roommates do.
Are you serious? Her roommates watch
Her
this?
roommates are huge Happy Camera fans. Huge. They literally gather to watch the show on Tuesday nights. She goes upstairs and reads a book.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Kyla, if you're watching, say hi in the chat, please.
Yeah. In fact, they're all on my Instagram. They know. They'll tell my daughter, "Do you know what your dad did today?" "No, I don't care." "Well, no, we know." Yeah. So it was.
Oh, jeez.
So let's look at. So what was your favorite episode of this season? Go.
I actually had a couple of real favorite ones. One was our third episode when we had Wyatt Black on the show.
Oh yeah,
you also did a whiskey fireside chat with Wyatt and a couple of the guys. Now Wyatt was he finished, I think, second place on season 10 of Alone. He was supposed to. Well, I was talking to him trying to get him to appear tonight, but he's in Wyoming doing a reunion with the season 10 cast of Alone. So he's in Wyoming right now. But yeah, you know what? I met him at the Barrie Outdoor Show. I think it was in February. No, in the fall, late fall. Anyways,
yeah,
he's a super nice guy. That guy is as genuine as they come. And a conversationalist. He's very intelligent. And he can carry a conversation.
Oh, for sure. My favorite whiskey chat this year was when I interviewed the winner of Alone. Alan, I think his name was.
Yeah, Alan Tenta.
But I also had Wyatt on, and also the guy from South Georgia or whatever. I had three of them, right?
Yeah.
Wyatt, oh my God. So what happened was, you probably have this happen to you too. So I went to do the interview, and the two were on, and then Wyatt was not to be found. And I had the cheap of Zoom, so I had 40 minutes, and then that was it, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't think Alan, the winner, really wanted anything to do with the interview at first. He's like, "What's this?" Well, whatever. And I went, "Oh God!" And then Wyatt is not tuning in, and then they got annoyed with Wyatt. I went, "Oh, this is really interesting." And then all of a sudden, 20 minutes into it, Wyatt joins, and then I start recording. And then Wyatt is Wyatt. He all of a sudden the charisma, like, right. And I said, "Guys, if you want, I can stop this interview and do another one, and we'll do two interviews. I'll edit together because it's not live, right?" Well, we did. I don't think any of them knew the second one was taped because they were down in whiskey. It was a whiskey chat, down in whiskey beyond belief. Like, no, that's not true. The guy from South Carolina, whatever, he doesn't drink, whatever. Alan and Wyatt was. By the end of it, they were inebriated. And thank God I had whiskey, but it wasn't whiskey. It was whiskey that looked like whiskey. It was tea.
Cheers, buddy.
There you go. It was one of the best interviews because it was the real thing. They started talking about what really happened at that show Alone. What really happened behind. Well, they couldn't tell exactly what happened, but you could tell. That was cool. That was one of my favorite. So one of your favorite was Wyatt.
Wyatt, of course. Another favorite there was our show number 2 on this season. There's so many favorites, but these are some of the ones that really stuck out in my mind. The one with Adam Schultz. It was we got to officially launch his new book, Where the Falcon Flies, the online launch. So I was so privileged to officially launch it with Adam here before he actually launched it publicly in person. And now his first presentation to launch it publicly was the very next day here, just outside of my town. So, yeah,
that was really cool about him as well, because I just went to the opening of the Canoe Museum last week, and we had dignitaries, we had friends, a bunch of really cool people stayed at my place, and we had good beers, whatever. But we started talking about him, and it was funny. There's a few pompous people that I still despise that man. And they got into that conversation at the Canoe Museum. I went, "Okay, guys, I don't get what the issue is. Like, have you met him? Have you talked to him?" "No, he's just blah, 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 blah." I went, "Okay, what he has done, his last trip, throw the mic down. Like, oh, let's go from Lake Erie to the Northern Labrador. Throw the mic down. And I said that to them. And the nice people that I know in the canoe community, the actually really famous people too, but are not full of themselves. They said, that's a good point, Kevin. Yeah, I would like to meet this guy. Other people said, well, you know, he didn't do this, he didn't do that, he didn't do this. And I looked at them and I said, because I got nothing to lose in my life right now.
Right.
What have you done? You've done shit. Yeah. Oh my Lord. It was such a lovely event. The museum is amazing. Actually, what you see when you go in there is amazing. But I found that there's a lot of, again, this pompous attitude of, well, it'll be done.
Mm-hmm.
Let it be done. And this Adam Schultz, who is he? We should judge him. Yeah.
No, whatever. You know what? Adam's a very well-spoken fella. He knows how to tell a story. He's very good, obviously, with his adventures. Like that's epic. Like what he's doing there is epic stuff, right? But yeah, he deserves all the accolades that he gets. And for those that may be haters, go pull your head out of the sand, right? It's
the same people. Years ago, I was at a meeting at the Canoe Museum. I'm not knocking the museum at all. I was there. I love it. I'm fantastic. But I was in the room when they were cursing me. This is back in the 90s. And they said, oh, that commoner, Callan.
Yeah. The
commoner of the canoe world. I went, ooh, I'm here in the room. I'm volunteering to be here. And I looked at them. I went, thanks for the compliment. And they're like, well, that really wasn't a compliment. I went, yeah, it was to me, because actually I actually have a more mixed audience that goes out to my presentations than you do. The one individual, I wouldn't say his name, but I said, last time I saw you present, you had a bunch of old people that had bellies, beards, and tilly hats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey, quick question here. Super Good Camping's asking, you may know, will there be a time on the lift lock paddle day to visit the canoe museum?
Oh yeah. Why not? Yeah. I think the biggest part of the museum is the docks. We were able to actually paddle in. So we all went out and we gathered, and then we paddled into the museum. I think that was their glory back in the day when they created the museum. That's what was supposed to happen, but never happened. And now it happened, and I really, rejoice that. It's so funny though, is that when we did that, the guy in my canoe, Mike, I don't know who he was. Becky goes, can you have a guy in your canoe? Mike, okay, Mike. Well, he told me all the guards that were guarding the governor general, all the ministers, and who was back in heat.
Back in heat. Really?
Yeah. He was telling me, well, that guy, he's back in heat. He's back in heat, right? And and I went, okay. Yeah, it was good. It was a good day.
That's crazy. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. So between Adam Schultz and Wyatt Black, we had a couple great shows later in the season too. We'll get to that in a bit, but of course, it's always cool when you have guys like Xander and Maxim Budnick. I think that was one of the most watched shows, and rightfully so. Both them guys are good-looking dudes, and they got a great following, and they drew in quite the audience. I think one of the biggest audiences this season, and I think of all seasons. So.
Well, here's a question, Dennis. Look at your numbers, because I look at my numbers for what I do too. So yes, the amount of people that watch, great. But what interview did you do where the majority of people stayed on the interview to the end, like 80%? You know what?
I would say probably that show, the one with Xander or Maxim. Yeah, just because I think a lot of the people are great fans of theirs, and they pretty much stuck out. I think that was the longest attendance I had throughout a show, the biggest numbers, and the biggest concurrent. Now I follow a lot of my stats for during the show to see what our peak viewership is throughout the show and stuff like that, like your peaks and valleys. And they maintain throughout the show. I could probably look it up here but it was very good. So I find that obviously some guests or some topics do much better than others, but it doesn't really matter to me because I'm not after the numbers. Ultimately, it's more about and I've been saying this and I maintain this all the time, is I learned so much from this show. When we do a special like we had last week on storage, or whether it's a winter camping one or gear storage or spring trip planning or food show, it's so awesome just to learn more. I'm learning for me, and everybody in the chat over there's got that opportunity to learn and take in all this stuff as well.
So what was the one show that you thought, oh, this is going to be good, this is going to be good, and it wasn't?
Wow. I'd have to let's see here, going through. The Allure of the Yukon show, I thought was something that was going to be a lot more successful. Excuse me. But there again, it was a show I kind of did selfishly for myself, so I can learn more about it, right? And it's not always about having the best numbers, but having the best learning experience. Does that make sense?
Like,
I'm more than happy to forego the numbers to learn something. And that was pretty niche. The Allure of the Yukon. Why do people want to go paddle in the Yukon? Because so many seem to be doing it now. And all my questions were answered, but it also helped intrigue me to want to go do a canoe trip up in Yukon, actually anywhere outside of Ontario, which I've never done. So
yeah, like I remember on my whiskey chat, I had Ian Tamblyn on, and I had every time I have a musician on, which I admire, like Ian Tamblyn, I was actually quite nervous during that presentation, because I admire that guy. I loved his music for years, and then I got to know him, really good guy, but I was nervous. Roy McGregor too was like, I can't believe I have him on my show, and yet the numbers were like, and I'm not sure why. I don't care why, to be quite honest. But even Ian Tamlin, like, are you serious, guys? Like, do you know who this guy is? And then I would have someone random on, like, that I was like, oh, it's gonna be cool, or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then get a lot of hits. So yeah.
So my fourth show of the season this year was perhaps the show that I took the most heat on. I had the most heated comments and people reaching out with concern, and that was having James Alofs on. You remember James Alofs? He's doing the YouTube series right now, Wild Homestead, where he's building a cabin up in. Have you been following any of that?
Funny, I know who you're talking about, and I watch your show religiously, but I didn't watch that one.
Well, James, I sort of followed him on Instagram, and he was putting out a bunch of Instagram posts about, like, talking about wolves and things to do to save the environment, and all these different things. And he called it Wild Ontario News, and he's foregone that now because he started his YouTube channel and he's building a cabin. He bought property. He lived in Toronto. He moved up north. He bought property, and he wants to, as he says, he wants to build a fabulous homestead to attract a magnificent wife, have 9 kids and an Irish wolfhound, and he wants to marry Sophie Turner, who was from Sophie Turner from somebody put it in the chat there. I'm having a brain fart. Was the Dragon Show. The Dragon Show with the dragons. Come on, Kevin. Help me here. Yeah. Game of Thrones. No, it wasn't Game of Thrones. It was the knockoff of that. But anyways.
Blood of something. Yeah.
So anyways, when he was on the show, I guess I never told him that this show is PG friendly, and he dropped the F-bomb probably a good dozen times throughout the thing. Right? He was treating it like the whole show like guy talking. I could guy talk and smack talk as much as the next guy, right? But the House of Dragons, that's the one. Thanks, Riley. But yeah, so he dropped that F-bomb a bunch of times, and I actually had people say, I listen to this when I'm driving my car, and now I can't play it because my kids are in the car and they don't want to hear all these F-bombs and blah, 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 right? So I probably took the most heat out of that show, but we had a blast on that show. Like he had a question. One of his questions was, if you had to be eaten alive, asshole first, by any wild animal, what would it be? Right. I'm just saying that was one of his questions, and he asked everybody that. So, yeah. So Yeah, there we go. There goes the PG rating for this episode as well. So
Okay, I'm going to say the F word. Fun.
fun.
Funny.
Anyways,
Okay.
and then episode number 5 was when we took a little turn from regular guests to talk about camping gear storage, gearing up for how should you store your gear for the winter. Big topic there was actually how to store your canoes so that they're not cracking or getting destroyed on you out in the backyard with a heavy snow. What do you do for that? Your canoes sit out in your backyard, right?
Well, I live depressed. I got nothing. I can't do anything. I went to pay for storage. That's insane. Whoever pays, that's insane. That's more than my mortgage.
Yeah.
So I went to get a storage area to put my canoes in. Of course, the longer the better. And it was $680 a month, the cheapest I could find. Yeah. And I paid $720 for mortgage here. So I don't know. My canoes are all falling apart. I do know Sarah at Novacraft always laughs because she goes, "No more wooden gunnels for you. No more. No more. You're not allowed wooden gunnels." I went, "Oh, I love wooden gunnels." Oh, there we go. Oh, there you go. Yeah. So they replaced some of my gunnels into the plastic gunnels, whatever, and they slapped me in the head. But I have no inside storage. Well, sorry.
I've never ordered one with ash gunnels either because I just know I wouldn't take care of it proper.
Well, I used to, maybe, I don't know, but also my daughter, I gutted her bedroom and took everything to Tally's, whatever, and then I'm now storing my winter gear in her room, and I told her the other day, Dad, I went, yeah, you're at university, you're not coming back, okay, like. If you do, you can sleep on top of my winter gear, okay? Because they're not being stored out in the back shed that leaks 10,000 times over. So, yeah.
No, let's see there. Then after the camping gear storage show, we did an episode with Dave Johnson, the canoe collector, which was a very interesting show.
I like that one. Yeah, that was good. Good. That's probably, I'm just guessing, that probably is one that a lot of people didn't watch, but I watched it and really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he might not be familiar to a lot of people. But if you had the opportunity to know Dave, then you would know what Dave is all about. And he's a very educated man when it comes to backcountry tripping. You can tell a good story. Yeah.
But that's the big question though. When you figure out who you're going to have, is it subject matter or is it person?
A bit of both, actually, Kevin. You know what? When I interview a person or I bring somebody on the show, first off, there has to be something that attracts me, and I kind of have to have an inkling or a bit of knowledge base about the person. There's a few people I'd like to interview, but I wouldn't know where to start right now because I don't know much about them. I'll throw one example at you, Becky Mason. I know who she is, right? But I don't know who Becky Mason is to the community these days or right now, right? What she's doing and stuff like that. And that's what I have to base an interview on, is like what a person is doing or what I know they've done. I know who she is, the daughter of, but it's one of those things that sometimes I'll come to you and I'll ask you a bit of advice and say, like, who is this person? What do I need to know about this person to be able to try and bring a subject matter? Because for me to sit here and not have a list of questions because I don't know the person, it makes it kind of difficult. I've had interviews like that in the past, and I won't say with who, but it's very difficult to get through, an hour and a half to 2 hours of a show if you don't know the subject matter somewhat. Does that make sense?
But when you know the person like 10 minutes into it, like I've done countless interviews on CBC where I don't know who the person is, but it's like a canoe trip. The moment you're in the canoe with them, let's say you and I do a trip together and I don't know you. Your name is Bob. 10 minutes into it, I would know who you are. Yeah. And I would also find like maybe we should backtrack and go home, or we're going to have a good time. is that sort of feeling that charisma that they're or if they've done so many interviews before that they're like, they don't want. Have you ever had that person on your show that they don't want to be there?
Yeah. And not you. But I know really you always want to be here. No, I don't even know if I want to say the name because it was somebody that was very big. He's been on the show a couple times, but his second time around, I don't want to get into it because I don't want to burn any bridges. But yes, I had one person on in particular that I know did not want to be on the show on his second appearance, and it was hell getting through the whole interview. Even though the show went off without a hitch, it was still very, very awkward. It was like I was walking on eggshells, and even he was walking on eggshells through parts of it as well. And at the beginning of the show, he logged in very last second, and he logged out as soon as we said goodbye, and that was it. No,
I'll tell you one that actually. So I've done interviews on my Whiskey Chat where they did not want to be there. Who are you? And then a few minutes into it, boom, they were like, "We're going." Alan, the last winner of Alone, I might be wrong, but I had that feeling he did not want to be there. Who are you? And what? And then I'm telling you, that interview went for 2 hours. I had to do another double take, right, with everybody else. Also, during the pandemic, when I was interviewing a whole pile of people, they were like, "Yeah, we'll do this because we got nothing else to do because they're lockdown." And I did. I'm pretty. The one Frank Wolf, good friend of mine too. He was like, "What are we doing?" And he was having a blast. By the end of it, I had to shut him down. Like, okay, the interview's over. So it all depends on the subject matter. So how do you, during your whole time doing this, where did you get to draw the charisma out of those people? Where was the moment where you're like, aha, I got them?
Yeah, well, you know what? It just comes through conversation. You can really see when you're interviewing somebody when they they go from this to this. You know what I mean? You can see when they become relaxed, and when they become relaxed, that's when this little notepad goes to the wayside, and it becomes a conversation more than a question period. And that's what I really try to turn these shows into is more of a conversation. More you're really good at that. Like you ask some cool questions, but you also draw people into a very, very subtle conversation. And to me, that's when a true person's charisma comes out. Like what with Wyatt Black, right? Probably one of the easiest interviews I've ever had to do because he was relaxed right from the get-go, and he and I talked like we had known each other for 100 years, right, during the show.
Yeah.
That's why I say it's probably one of my favorite episodes of the season. Probably one of my favorite episodes of all time.
Yeah, good, really cool guy. Really cool guy. He's one of those. This question: who would you ask back again? Because if I interviewed him and you interviewed him, I would have him back in a second because I think he actually did not tell as much as we should have got from him. So who would you have back again?
If I had to do a best of, he would definitely be one of them. He'd be probably one of the tops on my list to reach out to. Without burning the bridge too much, because like I say, I've had a number of guests on the show a number of times, and you don't want to go to the well too many times. But if that person or individual warrants that, then it's no different than having a topic. Every year we do a winter camping show. Every year we do a food show. Every year we do spring trip planning, and it's you're learning something on every single one of them. Sometimes it might be a lot of the same information, but there's always something new that comes out, something always new and refreshing that comes out. And with a guy like Wyatt, I follow him on Instagram and stuff, and he comes on almost daily, and he does all these really interesting Instagram posts. He just talking Wyoming. He goes, I'm in Wyoming, and the weather report, it's snowing, right? It's like just the way he says it. He's got that charisma, right? So
it's like a filmmaker that was at the canoe opening, and she actually stayed here. She was I think I already told this, but she was going to camp at Beavermead Park, and she was a friend of Becky and Paul, and I went, don't do that because something bad will happen to you. So she stayed here and we started chatting about she's working on a film about the culture around the days of Bill Mason, Water Walker, which a lot of young people wouldn't know, but about us, we would know, right? And I went, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. And I go, so who are you interviewing? She goes, a mixture of people, because I want to know people that knew him and admired him. But also, she said the majority of people, and actually I told her, when she interviewed me, and I said, I watched Bill Mason's Water Walker because I didn't idolize Bill Mason. I don't know who he was at the time, right? I idolized being in that canoe and doing that trip. That's why I watch Water Walker. It's to be in that red canoe and doing the trip he's on. Whoever you are, I don't really know who you are. And I think sometimes during an interview now, too, it's the same thing. We just idolize what that person is doing in their life, and you want to be living that life, whether it's Bob or Jane, whatever. So, yeah, sometimes during an interview, you get that sense. It doesn't matter if they're really famous. It just matters if their content is solid.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%. Steve Bentley wants to see your Canoehound mug.
I just spilled tea over my laptop. Steve Bentley, son, Jason, it's a brand new laptop. There, that one? Okay.
Sorry. You got me laughing there. Don't make me laugh. You make me choke up. And I have to throw this out there, too. I see Christian Moloschek just posted. I'm bouncing between this and my medieval combat chat. A new baby joined the ranks this weekend, so we're gushing over all the cuteness. If that's a new addition to your family, Christian, congratulations, man. So happy for you. Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
My colleague I work with, he had a baby. Well, he didn't have the baby. His wife had the baby. But it was so, and she was late. And every day how's it going? And I remember when Tyler was born, I went over to, actually, Speedoman was my neighbor at the time. I was so excited when Kyla was born. I had, give everybody a cigar, and I lit the cigar, my cigar, and I put the lit part in my mouth.
Ooh.
Because I was not in the strange.
Yeah.
And yeah, so he was over tonight getting his gear because we're heading out in the bush in a day. We're doing our big trip. So he borrows my gear again. Do you think someone might buy gear that he makes more money than I do? But no, comes over and borrows all my gear. And he reminded me about me putting a lit cigar in my mouth when my child was born. Anyway, sorry.
These things happen. Yeah, it's funny because Jim Baird interviewed you on his thing, and he was talking to you about. He said his buddies, he'd coax them into going on a trip and saying like, yeah, and then the portages come and blah blah blah, right? Yeah. And then he also said, one of the guys wanted to start tripping and says, "Hey man, you need to buy a new stove for our canoe trips, right?" Yeah, it's like the same thing with you there, right?
It's true. It's true. It's a lovely moment too. So that was one of my first interviews I've done in person since the pandemic, because I've done Zoom stuff with the Whiskey Chat. So I finally went to his place because he went to do the interview with me, and then I thought, well, we might as well do Whiskey Chat. Lovely family. I spent the day with them, and not just the day. Everything was hectic, and any household, right? Everything was going on, so it wasn't just like a facade. I saw what was going on. It's a solid family, because kids were crying, kids were laughing. They're all, and that was the day of the eclipse,
the lunar eclipse,
and they forgot about it. And I brought glasses because actually I didn't bring glasses. Christine put glasses in my car in case. Oh, Kevin, I went, no, I don't have time to watch this eclipse thing. Like, here, and she's organized. She put the glasses in. Of course, they're all looking and use the glass. It was a lovely time. And I would say that the interview was good, and the interview I did with him was good. But the time I spent with him was amazing. Yeah. We live in such a good community. We really do. Like, because you would think, well, Jim Baird, he's really quite famous. He might be pompous, and oh God, Jesus, no.
Yeah, when he was on the show there a few weeks back, there his dry sense of humor too. You have to really he'll catch you off guard with some of the driest comments, and then he'll have to tell you, man, that was a joke. At least laugh, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh no, him and I together were hilarious.
Yeah,
And Tori was seeing the differences, right? And I think the kids were too. It's like because I'm just making fun of him, and it's like two anglers together. They say, well, you really should make fun of everybody. Yes, you do, as long as you actually say it because you love the other person.
Yeah.
Right? There's a difference, right? Because when he went to look at the clips without the glasses, I went, Jim, what the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah.
And he was joking. My eyes, and yeah, we had a blast actually. Really good time.
Yeah. So, anyways, after we had Dave Johnson on, we'd had a couple of topical shows. We did Ontario Invading Species, which was very educational. Got to learn a lot about some of the things that are going on out there, plants, fish life, wildlife, all these different things, that to be watching out for. Clean your canoe when you take it from one body of water to another. Very, very important, right? You never know. These sand fleas are starting to invade all over the place too, and they're getting carried from vessels like our canoes or boats or, whatever it might be. So the winter camping show, which is always a great show. We always learn a lot there. I usually have Pine Martin on to talk about, and Nate Muskoka. We all talk about our winter camping experiences and how to stay warm and what type of gear to use and clothing and food. And that's actually one of my favorites too. I always enjoy talking about the winter camping shows.
I find that interesting because every year you say, "Hey, Kevin, we're going to do this." I went, "Oh, really? Like, oh God! Like we've talked about this before. Like, gee," and yet everybody loves it. So
yeah, it's one of the bigger shows for topic shows. So that's something that in the future I would do it again. But I always try to pull different information out. But it doesn't matter because you can learn stuff and you can forget it, and then it refreshes your memory by reapproaching it. So that's cool.
yeah.
Then we had a good buddy of ours, Hap Wilson, was on the show, episode 9, and I thought I'd take a different approach with Hap because he's quite the talented artist, and we talked a lot about his art, and that was basically the focus of the show. We didn't get into any politics or nothing, and it was how it's hard sometimes to keep Hap on a leash when it comes to that stuff. But you know what? Yeah, come on, but he was really good, and he was quite proud to talk about his artwork and his some of the inspirations behind the art that he's actually put out. And I made this mention before. I actually have Hap Wilson's artwork tattooed on my arm, right? And that's because the Temagami book was one of my Bibles back when when I first started paddling. And some of the pictures in there, and that's the only tattoo I got, and it happens to be his artwork. And when I first showed it to him there at the Toronto Outdoor Adventure Show, he goes like, "Why'd you put that on you?" And I just said, it was an inspiration. He says, and then I had it on video, and he goes, "I didn't do that. I drew that, but I didn't do that." Right? So yeah.
A true part of an interview is so I watched the Hap one, really enjoyed it because you got to know a little bit more about Hap other than what he has said before, right? And that gave me inspiration when I went to Jim's place, and he went to interview me for his podcast, which is a big podcast, a lot of viewers, right? I was like, oh, geez. And we sat down. He literally sat down with notes, right? I went, whoa, Jim, like notes? And he goes, well, yeah, I did this with Hap, and it didn't go well either. And I went, Hap and I are totally different, but could you do me a favor? Ask me questions that I've never been asked before. If we could do that today, because I was burnt out. I just done a road show of tons of presentations. I was completely exhausted. And I've heard I'm not knocking it at all, but I've heard every single, what's your favorite canoe route? Right? I go, could you maybe not ask me that question? Now he did, but at the end, if you listen to the interview, he asked me questions. He got comfortable. And we had a conversation as opposed to he wasn't reading off a script anymore. And he started asking me questions about even suicide and stuff like that, which is really cool because as a person being interviewed, as you would know, interviewing people, when they're in the realm of, well, I'm now intrigued, right? Yeah. So as opposed to, can we get this done?
Yeah, I had the same experience when I had Les Stroud on last year too. that was the second go around, and we didn't talk about Survivor Man. I don't even think Survivor Man come up more than once or twice in our discussions. It was all about his music and his other shows that he has on, and he was so very well spoken when it came to those things, right? And I think it was a breath of fresh air that he didn't have to talk about Survivor Man again, right? Or Bigfoot and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been at presentations with him where he was presenting, and the person that asked him to be there was beside me and cursed him, saying, I didn't pay for this. I paid for him to talk about Survivor.
Yeah.
So,
whatever. Anyways, we have somebody in the basement here that was on episode 10, and we had him on the show, and we were talking about a really epic adventure that he had. He went pack rafting in the canyons of Tuk Nugait, and it was really cool. I was really enthralled by his adventures that he did there, and the whole experience of paddling this big whitewater and canyons and stuff in a pack raft. Steve, how you doing, man?
I'm excellent. How are you guys doing?
Good.
hey, Steve!
Kevin?
We had you on episode 10, and like I said, I was really enthralled by the adventure that you had taken on going to Tuk Nugait. Is that proper way of Nogate?
Yeah, Tuk Nugait. I think Nugait means young caribou in Nuktatuk.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you told us the whole story on how like all the logistics of how you had to plan to get there and how you had to get permission to paddle there and everything that went along with it. And then of course your adventure down this river right down to the end when you actually seen a couple of other guys that you were familiar with that were exploring the North Channel by rowboats, right? So
yeah, I bumped into Adam. Is it Ripley or Riley? Is that his last name?
Yeah, Adam Riley.
And Maddie, I can't remember his name, but Adam was on Alone season 9, I think. And when we ended the trip in Polituck, it's a really small community, fly-in, only 283 people in the population. And in the community center is basically where you hang out. There's nothing in town. And there was just another, obviously, non-local there. And I just struck up conversation with him, and I was like, what are you doing here? And he's like, what are you doing here? And ends up he was paddling the Northwest Passage, and I was coming off the Hornaday Canyons meeting at the Arctic Ocean. Actually, we're still friends. I still chat with him every once in a while. I gave him a little bump to be on the show.
Yeah, you know what? I had reached out to him and Maddie, and I guess Maddie's experience was a little different than his was, and he really wanted some time off after they got back because they weren't successful in their endeavor, and I think that was really tough on Maddie. He tried to go the long haul and it was unsuccessful, and I think that really had him. I won't say mentally upset, but he was very upset about the whole thing, right? So he said that they would get out to me when they were ready to talk about it, but never did reach out. So it kind of ended up becoming stale in the water and never ended up happening, right? But
interesting. I'll ask you guys, especially Steve here, because I've talked to many people over the years that went out to do something, even got sponsors to do something, and then didn't do that. And then they didn't do anything afterwards. I went, so why would you not write the story about that? Because to me, that's a story. That's a solid story. You went out to do something and you failed. That's a good story.
Yeah. From what I understand, so I don't talk to him frequently, but let's say a couple times a month we'll exchange notes. They raised a bunch of money on Kickstarter. I think it was Kickstarter or something to do a documentary. And I think I actually think Les Stroud is like involved somehow with that documentary. I don't know how, but I remember him telling me that. So they're going to release something, and the story will obviously be amazing. I mean, if you follow them on Instagram or Facebook or whatever it is, Adam got injured at Polituck, but even Tuktoyaktuk to Polituck is one hell of a paddle along the Arctic coast. Mm-hmm. And then Maddie continued on. I think he was like, I'll say it wrong, like Kuglatuk or something like that. But he was not battling, but he was seeing polar bears at night, sleeping inside. If you see and I know we're just talking about this now, but if you see where they had to sleep at night, so their wooden boats had like a coffin inside. and they would open up. So they had a tent, but if they felt that the weather was really bad or that there was going to be polar bears, they would open up this, like, I don't even know what it was, like this little container where they would store all their gear, and it was like a 8-foot long, 3 feet wide, 2 feet tall coffin that they would sleep inside their boat. Yeah, it was intense. It was the real deal.
Couldn't do that, man. Like, too claustrophobic.
Yeah. Yeah, he showed it to me actually when we were there. He's like, and when I was in Paultuck, I was staying at the local hotel. I stayed there for 3 nights waiting for my flight because weather was bad, and he was sleeping in his boat on the edge of the Arctic Ocean in the Darnley Bay. I said, okay.
Well, crazy.
Yeah, they've got some grit, those two.
Yep, for sure. So what are you up to these days? How's Sulik 46 doing? And I know you got some other things, some other plans in the works right now with your rail bikes. Give us a quick update on this stuff.
Okay, so yeah, Sulik 46 is doing good. Always new stuff coming out. You know, I love working with the community on new products and whatnot. But and then trip-wise, I have developed a crazy contraption that allows me to turn my mountain bike into a human-powered railway machine. I know most people are going to think I'm absolutely insane, but there is a plethora of abandoned and decommissioned and defunct railways all over the world. So this all started a couple of years ago when I was down in Patagonia and saw the guys riding La Chochita across Patagonia. It's like a 400-mile railway that isn't used, and people bring like homemade contraptions to ride across Patagonia. Anyway, make a long story short, I spent about a year or so developing it, and I am in the process of going on my first multi-day expedition, which will be in the next coming weeks. And then I have an even bigger one with the rail bike at the end of the year with a guy named Bucky Miller from Huntsville. I think, Kevin, maybe you even know him, or maybe Dennis, you know. Oh, they're the bike packing guys.
Yeah. I reached out to them, and I guess they're on some expedition, or we're just finishing up an expedition. So yeah,
they were headed up to Polar Bear Provincial Park, I think, on skis.
Yeah.
So that's the rail bike. So for those in the chat, if you want to know, it's basically if you're into bike packing, which I love bike packing. I like any unique multi-sport endeavor. I know it sounds weird. I also go on traditional trips. Like I also do canoe trips at Algonquin and Killarney, but I love like biking something and then hiking and then paddling and combining it to make a unique route. So imagine bike packing except with a little like device that attaches to your front wheel and allows you to ride abandoned railways. I know it sounds weird. It's you know, someone wrote in the comments, I posted a reel the other day. Someone wrote in the comments, like, you're always the crazy one until they realize you're a visionary or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Yeah. Well, you're going to be doing some video. I seen on your latest contraption posting that you had there. You had mounts on there for cameras and stuff now. So you're going to be doing a little video series on it?
Yeah, I'll probably do on the 2 or 3 day trips. I just do a single video, usually like a half hour or something, depending on it. But there's huge interest. I know it sounds so weird. I don't really have like a huge social media following. Like we're more like a business kind of thing. But I posted that rail bike reel about a month ago, and it's something at like 1.2 million likes or something like that. Like it's absolutely flying off the charts of whatever. I've never had that happen before. And I posted another one this morning, just not thinking that would ever happen again. And it's at like 150. Like there's this is really weird. There's this huge rail biking interest. So
really,
so I got 2 trips planned for that. And then I think everyone knows about the Torngats. I was talking about that on the show. So I'm headed to the Torngats to do the Karak and do a first descent of the Andre Grenier leave on June 30th with Evan LeFive, who I think has been a guest on the show and a channel member. Cool. So that'll be, again, a multi-sport route where it's 2 or 3 days running the Upper Karak, and then a multi-day, probably 2 or 3 days, doing about 40 or 50 kilometer portage over the Torngat Mountains, 3,500 feet or so. Pretty nervous about that, to reach the headwaters of the Andre Grenier, and then documenting and mapping the Andre Grenier all the way back to the lower Karak River, and then taking the Karak all the way to a town that the short form is Kang, but it's actually like Kangik Sujuak or something like that. Yeah. And the park's been really helpful to us. They gave us the landing permit with no issues. they've been fantastic. They're very excited to have us. So, yeah.
Well, that's some
Yep.
very exciting things coming down the pipe. Great to hear that. And I look forward to seeing hopefully some documentaries and stuff like that you put together, because you do a good job with it.
If we survive, we'll have some media for sure.
If you survive, go for the survive. Go for the survive.
Yeah.
That's awesome, Steve.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Stick around for the green room after there if you like. You got the link, so you can always get back in if you need to. But thanks for popping on the show. Great to get an update and keep things rocking with Sulik 46.
Yeah, I'll just end quickly by saying thanks, Dennis, for putting this on every Tuesday. I heard the little monologue at the beginning there where you were saying it was a lot with a full-time job in the business. And I think I've told you before, I can't imagine the amount of work and effort it is every 7 days to reach out, do the research, find out who's not just relevant, but doing something interesting that the community wants. I imagine that it's a lot. And I also have a YouTube channel that's monetized, but probably has a similar amount of views and subscribers. And I can tell you now that, Dennis is not making millions here.
It's a labor of love, man. It's a labor of love. That's all.
It's actually beyond the labor of love. So thank you, Dennis. I appreciate what you do for the community.
Thanks for recognizing that, Steve. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, so we'll talk to you in a little bit.
Take care. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Kevin, let's take a quick little commercial break so we could refresh our teas, and we'll come right back after this.
Thank goodness I have to pee.
Me too.
There's nothing like being out there. For over 50 years, we've been connecting people with nature by building classic Canadian canoe designs using the best materials available. We built a reputation on durable, dependable canoes that allow you to focus on what's important, whether that's unplugging in remote wilderness, spending quality time with your favorite people, or nailing the perfect line. Visit novacraft.com to find the perfect canoe for you and locate your nearest authorized dealer.
Tonight's episode of Canoehounds Outdoor Adventure Show is brought to you by Kid Products, stick stoves and reflector ovens proudly made in Canada. Algonquin Outfitters, with 5 key locations in and around Algonquin Park to serve your backcountry needs. Salis Marine, keeping you safe on the water since 1999. Ostrom Outdoors, custom fit canoe packs and barrel harnesses. Badger Paddles, handcrafted canoe paddles made to order. And Novacraft Canoes, connecting you with nature in Canadian-made canoes since 1970.
And welcome back to the second half of the season finale of Season 5 of Canoehounds Outdoor Adventure Show. Before we bring Kevin back up on panel, and we do have a couple more guests in the basement there that we're going to bring up there to get some updates on how they've been doing since their episode. We do want to do the swag giveaway. We're going to make this quick and sweet. Please do not put your answer in the chat. I did mention how many episodes of Canoehounds Outdoor Adventure Show have aired to date, including this episode. If you want to know what the answer is, just take a look. Here's a little hint. Just have a look at the thumbnail for the show, and I want everybody to have a chance to win. We're giving away 3 Canoehound Adventure prize packs, and then included with those there, I will include a bunch of swag that have been graciously donated from some of our sponsors, stuff that hadn't been given away in the past, things that we have kicking around, and all kinds of neat stuff. So please do send your answers to coasprize@gmail.com by midnight on Saturday. Do not send it to canoehound@gmail.com. Those ones don't make it into the draw. Send it to the COAS prize. I'll leave this floating across the bottom here for a few short moments, and we'll just get right back into tonight's recap and bring Kevin back up on stage. And what hat has he got on now? No hat.
I got no hat, but I
got a good head of hair on you, man. You don't need a hat.
No, it's all sweaty. I worked all day today. I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
But also my pee smelled like when I had asparagus for dinner.
TMI,
Do you
but
know that there's some people that actually their pee does not smell bad after asparagus?
no.
I thought it was everybody.
I did not know that.
Everybody tell us right now, does your pee smell bad after asparagus? Because mine did right now.
Put a one in the chat. There you go.
But,
Okay, so
but no,
after,
look,
huh?
oh,
go ahead.
oh yeah. So it's exciting. This time of year, you get a whole bunch of new gear to try out for the season.
Yeah.
It's right beside me because I'm packing because I'm gone in 2 days. New lightweight rain jacket from Hella Hansen.
Nice.
You can actually see through it. It's so light. You know, when it's really hot and sweaty, but you still need a rain jacket.
Yeah.
So I got to back up. Seriously, it's like really light like that. That's
Nice.
New tent from Xped. It's a 2-person. I put it up today in the backyard. Ash is going with me. He looked at it and he goes, "There's no way you and I can fit in there with a dog." I went, "Yes, we can." All right. What else? Oh, look at this. Catch the fish. Oh, I haven't tried this out yet.
Oh, put the fish in there and over the fire.
Yeah. So catch a fish. And then, oh God, help us all. I got it. All right, here we go. And then you put a stick in it and you roast it. The problem is I catch fish. They're so large. This will not do.
That will not do. Eh? You have to quarter them.
Wait a minute. I got, this is cool. So, lights, solar lights. You know the Lucy light, the same company?
Yeah, I've got one.
So
right
it's a whole pile of lights that you.
oh my goodness, look at that.
Yeah, whole pile of lights that you put on. And I'm going to put this in the bug shelter because that's where we're going to spend most of our time next week. Like, look at it. It keeps going. It keeps going.
Hey, let me tell you something. I just got back from Naganash and I slept in my tent for the first time in probably 10 years.
Almost have a hammock.
I brought my dog, right? And I wanted her to be more comfortable. She has a harder time getting in the hammock now. My gosh, I never had such an uncomfortable sleep in my life. Oh, really? I hate it. And I had a thick air mattress and the whole 9 yards. And yeah. And the bugs were bad. And I mean bad. Black flies and mosquitoes. We had the no bug zone going. And with 2 dogs coming in and out of the no bug zone, it didn't matter. The bugs were all inside now, right?
I don't understand why black flies should not be bad right now because the low water, because they hatch in running water, right? Yeah. So if the rivers are low, I don't know.
Yeah. And then we had a stellar year. We've seen 2 wolves. We've seen a bear. We've seen a white-tailed deer, 2 water snakes, otters, a bunch of huge snapping turtles, and of course all kinds of birds, right? But yeah, finally seen some wildlife, man. Like I haven't seen wildlife in so long. I forgot what a bear looked like. So
I gotta say though, so a couple weeks ago, I think it was on your show talking about this, but Ashley picked me up and we went for a day trip up on lake north of here. And I saw so much wildlife, immature bald eagle flying over us, goshawks mating in the air while they're flying to the ground. And I saw so many things. And I caught one brookie. And, are you upset with that one? No. The amount of wildlife I saw today was just, and I spend my days outdoors showing wildlife. So, but yeah, look at this. Hellenox chair. This will blow your mind, okay? So I write for Explore Magazine. So I got stuff sent to me to test out. So I got this, really lightweight, but it's also a fold chair because I'm old. Yep. You're old. So I have this high chair, but it's white. Who in the hell would bring a white
chair?
Someone respond, like, why?
Well, like, keeps the bugs away. Maybe it's a bug repellent thing.
No. And then, all right, I got this. Sorry, I got all these things in the mail. I live a lonely life. All right, so wait a minute.
I got one of them. It blew up my air mattress.
Uh-oh.
Has it got the light on it too?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, this is nice. I don't have air conditioning. And then, it has the light.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
And it charges your phone, whatever. I'm not sure I'll ever do that, whatever. But
yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a
You
minute.
can use that to propel your boat. Just put a sail up and go. That's funny.
How do I shut it off? Dennis!
Hey, you know something else really cool that we've seen in Naganash was all the dragonflies were in metamorphosis.
Really?
So we were
Well,
watching all the
that's good sign.
dragonflies crawl out of their what do you call that? Their nymph bodies.
Yeah,
And
no,
then
that's a good
turning
sign.
into bloody dragonflies right in front of us. Hey, it's like a 2-hour process. It was really cool. Never seen that before.
Okay, one more thing.
Okay, one more thing.
I don't know.
Oh, Fatwood and Fire Striker, yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? I could just find that in the bush. And,
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. We have people to come on.
Shows to cover still. Show 11 after Sulik 46. We had show 11 was our Christmas special. Always just a festive evening there. Everybody wearing their Santa hats and stuff like that. We had a great night. But then after that, we had a new youngcomer, as many of us have been calling him. A guy with a really sexy mustache, and he did a fantastic trip on Steel River, right? Was one of his great videos that he put out there. Very well appreciated. Let's bring him up on panel, find out how he's doing. Good old Ben Beauchamp.
Oh, look at that. Oh,
Kevin, you always make my head swell talking about my mustache.
you make something else swell, baby.
Whoa. PG. Ladies,
Sorry.
gentlemen, hold your ears. How you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm really good.
Yeah.
I'm.
what have you been doing since we had you on back episode 12? That was a long time ago, man.
Yeah, I know. I think I was on back in January. So very recently, I've been living the dream. I've been on the road since for over 2 weeks now. I've just been doing I've took this whole month off work, and I've just been doing as many canoe trips back to back to back. So I left my house May 5th, I think. And I'm totally gonna put out some spoilers here for my own channel. Oh, there's my girlfriend in the chat. I haven't seen her in a couple weeks.
Rachel, how you doing?
But I started off, I met up with Tosh, who's been on the show, Tosh Self-Propelled. And we ran the Jimmy Cash River that flows into the Dog and then out to Superior, and we paddled the coast. And that's, I hope Tosh is okay with me talking about that, because we haven't mentioned anything about it. And that was really wicked. That was, there's not too much info on that river at all. There's 2 guys that ran it in 2022, and they went through, their shuttle service was Naturally Superior Adventures. And David, who works there, I don't know if he owns it. He's the guy there.
Yeah.
He had never heard of anyone that had run that river before. And it was very evident when we got there. So it was the shuttle. So we used the shuttle from NSA, and they brought us there, and they were able to drop us off 3.5 kilometers down an ATV trail. And then we bushwhacked our canoes in just to get to the headwaters. Then when we finally found the we were on Jimmy Cash Lake where it starts, and then we finally found the river, and it every kilometer was just like a beaver dam or a log jam. And then there was at least half a dozen 50-foot waterfalls that there's no trail, no portage, no sign of anyone. And we were just like, okay, this is another waterfall where we're going to have to crash through the bush. There were multiple times where I'm so grateful for Tosh being there, because I don't know what I would have done alone. I wouldn't have done a trip like that alone. But he had ropes, lowering canoes down, down cliffs and stuff. I'm scaling waterfalls. We got some really cool footage to show from that trip. And then we both parted ways, and he went back. He's I think he's doing some work on his van right now, because he's been he was travel he's been living that van life. But I think he headed back to Ottawa because he's got to replace the brakes or something like that. And then so I went from there. So I was in Wawa, and I went from there. Have you ever heard of the Bremner River? Probably, maybe Kevin. It's a tributary of the White River. Near the town of White River.
You did that?
I tried. So that was another one that was very seldom. There's no info on it online at all. There were 2 guys that made a little video there, and it's a 75-kilometer loop, as so I thought. But then I attempted it, and there was like 15 log jams that I went through going upriver, and I was like, hey, I can't even. There's no way I can get through this. So I ended up turning back. And then once I got back into service, I rewatched that video and realized those guys used a shuttle, and they skipped the entire section that I was trying to get into. So that's actually typically a fly-in trip. You fly into McKay Lake or something like that. But the whole point of that was because I'd heard that there's good brook trout fishing on like the lake section there and in the river as well. So I was like, okay, I need to find some brook trout. And the only place that I'm familiar with that has brook trout is Diablo Lake, part of the Steel River trip. So I portaged Diablo just for like 2 nights. And then I realized I think I may have been the first person to ever portage Diablo in reverse, because I went in and out, and it was worth it. I laid into the brookies there. I caught probably a dozen of them. And then so now I'm at a friend's cabin, family friend's cabin in Hornpain, near Hornpain at Nagagamassis Lake.
Yeah.
And we're doing all kinds of fish. My dad and my brother are here, and we've got our friends up here, and we're just doing a bunch of guys fishing trip. And I don't want to talk too much about that because unfortunately my brother is totally showing me up on the fishing. He's laying into them. I seem to catch anything up here. He's already got a rainbow trout. He's got a couple brook trout. He caught a sucker of all things. He caught a walleye. I caught one small pike. But I think I'm not sure what I'm here for a week. I've been here for a couple days, and we were thinking what we'd do is it's all crown land around here. So we were thinking we'd go in and fish a bunch of different lakes that we can just like ATV into or whatever, and then wherever the fish are biting, my brother and I will go camp there. And then from here, this is the one thing that I don't want to spoil, but I have a big 10-day solo trip planned from here. And my car is parked somewhere in this province, and I'm going to canoe back to my car. So that's all I'm saying about it. But really, really stoked. And then I unfortunately have to go home and go back to work and live a real life. But for now, I'm in fantasy land. I'm living it. The one thing that's
probably missing you right by now.
Oh,
right? So.
and I miss her. Yeah, that's the one thing that really does suck, and the fact that I'm like just sitting on so much cool footage right now that like I want to edit and I want to get these videos out. I want to show people what I've been up to, but I'm in it now. Like I'm actually also very grateful for our friend here who's allowed me to fire up the generator and hook up the Starlink just so I could be on here right now.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. They're not in here, but yeah, so I've been lots of really exciting things, and yeah, I'm kind of sunburnt right now, a little tired.
Cool. Well, you know what? It sounds like you're really challenging yourself, and that's that makes for some great content. I really look forward to seeing some stuff soon because it's been a little while, right?
Yeah. I don't think. Oh, okay. One more thing I want to talk about. I was just gonna say I haven't posted a video since like March. And that was a little different than what I usually do. I made like a bushcraft shelter, and I was really hoping that Wyatt Black would join in here, because this is a funny small world moment. I was on actually our family friend who owns this cabin. He lives in Bracebridge. He has a few acres out there, and so he said, "Why don't you go to the back of my property and like do your thing, build a shelter?" So I was back there, and the whole idea was to build like a lean-to with like hemlocks and spruce boughs and stuff, and sleep in it overnight. And there was a big storm coming, so I was going to be like surviving in the rainstorm. And long story short, if you watch the video, the shelter was a complete bust. I got soaked. I stuck it out, but while I was out there, like I was kind of at the top of this hill on his property, and through like about an acre away, there's like a big grass field, and then there's houses on the other side of the field. And I'm just doing my thing. I've got a fire going. I've got my headlamps on and whatever. And meanwhile, Steve, our friend, his neighbor saw me like rustling around with the headlamp, and he like messaged Steve right away, said, "Hey dude, like I think there's someone trespassing on your property right now. It's like it's close to midnight," and he could see me like rustling about with my headlamp. So then Steve texted him saying, "Hey, like, no worries, man. Like, he's a buddy of mine. He's actually a YouTuber, and he's like, he's making a video out there. He's making a shelter. He's sleeping the night." turns out his neighbor is really good friends with Wyatt Black. And after, I'm not even sure if I should say this, but after that show, after Alone, Wyatt had to go and like, since he was like the show was still going on after he tapped out, he came second. He had to go like hide for a couple of weeks so that there was no spoilers. So he actually hid out at this guy's house. So they were trying to line it up, like, and I didn't know any of this was happening. I was in the bush, but they were trying to line it up to send Wyatt out and like come in, like surprise me in the bush. But unfortunately, he was teaching some course in the States. But I was really hoping that he would be here so I could connect those dots with him there. Yeah. But I found that so funny, and he would be able to help me with my shelter, of course.
Yeah, small world, right?
Yeah,
that's crazy, man. Well, great to get some updates, and looking forward to seeing some of your content coming out again.
Hey, thank you so much, and yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, for sure. All good. Anything for him, Kevin?
Is when he says, "Hey," that's the Canadian thing. Hey.
I'm in Horn Pain right now. I have to.
Yeah. That's amazing place where you are. The people are beautiful there.
Yeah. Absolutely.
My dad and I went every year. We went up there fishing when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's the other thing. I remember I think it was Jim Baird's podcast when he had Wyatt Black. They were talking about moose hunting or whatever, and Wyatt said, "Oh yeah, I moose hunt up in Horn Pain."
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I wonder if we've like crossed paths with this guy in the bush or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
That's well.
Never know. Small world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay, dude. Thanks very much. You know the drill. If you want to stick around for the green room, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
And, we'll talk to you a little later.
Yeah. It's a pleasure always.
Cool, man. Talk soon.
Take care.
You got to grow one of them mustaches, Kevin. I'm telling you.
No, I look terrible in the mustache. He looks good in mustache. I don't.
Alrighty. So after we had Ben on the show, somebody that's very familiar to you and I, Bill and Ann Ostrom, they were on the show, and it was one of my sponsor highlight shows that I like to put on once in a while. And I got to learn a lot about Bill and Ann themselves, not just about their pack company or their backpack company, but also about them. They're quite the adventurers, eh?
Oh yeah, they've been in the bush a lot. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I remember the one, like Bill's tough, really tough. Like we're on a trip. We were out for quite a while, and he lost his tooth and just spat it out onto the portage.
Oh, yeah, story. Yeah,
and just kept going. I went, holy shit! And he passed a kidney stone, and we're good. Just keep going, Kevin. Okay. Yeah.
Well, I finally they had sent me a new version of the Wabakimi pack that they produce there, which is the exact same as the Wabakimi pack I had. A few differences, but I got to use that this past weekend up at Naganash. And work some of the kinks out, because just like any piece of gear, you have to break it in, type of thing, right? And compared to my old Wabakimi, I had to break this one in kind of to get it to fit proper, straps proper and stuff. And then also one of their barrel packs, which was way more comfortable than the old Eureka barrel pack that I had. So did get an opportunity to try that stuff out there, and nothing but thumbs up there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, if you have a barrel, that's fine. But if you have a harness that's uncomfortable, like, don't even bother. Yeah.
So, and then after Bill and Ann Ostrom, back with episode 14, this gentleman has been very well known for his maps of Algonquin Park, and he come up with his new series of Algonquin Park maps. Let's welcome back Jeff McMurtry to the show. How you doing, Jeff?
Oh, Jeff!
Hey,
oh, he's amazing.
How's it going?
Where's the tape over your glasses, man?
Oh, right. I see that just for you.
So this collection of maps must be doing quite well for you. The buzz is still out there about it, and you've done some wonderful things with it. What's the feedback been since the show and since you relaunched these maps?
It's been really great. It's one of those things where you work on this project for years, kind of on your own, right, hidden away, and it's kind of like, to me, I'm really proud of what I'm working on, but you never know what's the real world going to think, right? So yeah, that was really, really exciting getting into the world and getting all this, honestly, almost exclusively positive feedback. Yeah, I don't know. It's been a crazy few months. A lot of fun, you know.
I
That's
gotta say,
awesome.
Jeff. So the guys I'm going with in 2 days in Algonquin, they come over to went over stuff, whatever. They said, "Okay, Kevin, going over the gear list. Number 1, do you have a bug shelter? Yes, I do. Number 2, do you have Jeff's new maps? Yes, I do. I mean,
That's pretty
whiskey and good food was way down the list. It was bug shelter and Jeff's new maps.
Priorities, you know.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we were in the green room before the show, Jeff, and you were talking with Steve about. I guess you're making some appearances at MEC coming up in the future here. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah. So I had done Mech Burlington once so far, like a month or something ago. They had reached out, and that went well. And then I got invites from Mech Ottawa and Mech London, and I'm doing Burlington again. So those are coming up. I put the dates on Facebook like today, but yeah, like I think Ottawa's first, a couple weeks, and then yeah, Burlington I'm doing like 1 week before each, like the long weekends, and London's somewhere in there too. So that's kind of fun, you know. You get like that face-to-face interaction, right? Because a lot of time, again, kind of just holed up in front of the computer doing the thing, going on trips, whatever. But it's a lot of fun then, kind of just getting a chance to like interact with people, you know.
Mhm.
It's like a rock star, but you're not Loverboy. You're like Led Zeppelin.
Oh, it's you, Kevin.
No, I'm Loverboy.
Well, that's great recognition for you, Jeff, because people obviously are loving the maps. I know when I seen you at the Toronto Outdoor Adventure Show, you're hanging out while you're displaying over at the Algonquin Outfitters booth, and yeah, you had people steadily coming up to you about the maps and stuff like that. It's got to be a good feeling knowing that the fruits of your labor are paying off, right? And you got a great direction that you're headed now. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's kind of a weird feeling, right? Because I don't know, it's going back in time, right? When I started out doing the maps, it was just I want a better map for myself, and it's again because so much of it, I'm like disconnected in a certain sense from the people using it, right? Like you talk to people by email, maybe you bump into a person like on a trip or something, but there's sort of still like a huge gap between like the number of people using it and stuff. So it never really quite clicks. Like
Mhm.
it doesn't like logically I get it, but yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It's kind of neat.
Yeah, that's good, man. It's something to be proud of. I think Donald Dakota's asking a question here. He's asking, any chance of a Temagami map? Anything in the works right now?
I'm not working on it like right now, but I'd like to. I mean, because again, I'd done one so many years ago, like I don't know, 10 years ago or something like that, and it definitely, could use an update or something like that. So yeah, I'd love to do that. I mean, it's honestly it's one of those things where there's like all these fun projects to do. It's just a matter of ranking them, prioritizing them. But that's definitely on my mind.
Well, right now you're having fun with these. You got to sell these first, right? So that's yeah. Christian Malashek is asking, will you be in Mech and Kitchener?
If they want me, yeah. I mean, because for all the ones for Burlington and London and Ottawa, it was like them who had reached out to me. I guess after the first one went well there in Burlington, somehow word got round. So I'd love to.
Cool.
Time will tell.
Cool. Any other news or updates to share?
Updates. I mean, I don't know. I went on paddling trips. That was fun. Did a bunch of bushwhacking, which is a lot of fun. And other than that, I don't know. Like this is kind of, I don't know. Like making the maps in my mind is kind of like the cycle, right? Because you put the map out, and then the next thing is, well, you can kind of do whatever you want, right? It's like coming up with ideas and like new ideas for new places, ideas for kind of new design stuff, features, all sort of stuff. So that's kind of the phase I'm in right now. This like very creative, exploratory phase, trying to figure out what's next, and yeah, kind of just starting on some stuff. So I don't know. It's a lot of fun. You can kind of do anything.
Yeah, you said you've been paddling. Where have you been? Where you been going?
Oh, so yeah, I've done 2 trips, kind of like late April, early May. They're both Algonquin trips, testing out the new map. But it was the first one in particular was like a lot of fun because like 95% of it was spots I've never done before. There's not a lot of that in Algonquin, but we're kind of doing like in the bottom of the park. There's a whole chain of like these long, like 2-3K portages. It's kind of like a one-way route. That's essentially why I hadn't done it before, because it's a big pain in the butt, you know. But we decided we would try to make a loop out of it. So we did that kind of channel through the park, the long walks and whatever. And then from there back to the lake we'd started, it was like a bushwhack route. Because like, you know, on aerial photos and imagery, it looks nice and wide and all that. And so, yeah, trying to make a loop where there wasn't one. And that was a lot of fun. And I always love the bushwhacking thing. Kind of, you never know what you're going to run into. And yeah, I mean, that was great. It kind of started out with a long walk. It was like a 4-kilometer walk along some roads. And then there's a creek called Otter Creek, which, again, you never quite know what you're going to get. But it ended up being like this beautiful paddle. It was like 6, 7, 8 kilometers, something like that. Like nice and wide, nice and deep. Great. We get to like this logging road, which we knew would be there. Great. We push back to the road, have lunch. Like we're doing great on time, right? And of course, you know, get ready to go. And like from then on, like the rest of the day was the complete opposite. So like the first thing was, you know, we're walking along the logging road, and like 50 meters later, like the bridge is out. Like that's a thing, because it's kind of, you know, where the bridge used to be, you know, the creek narrows down. You got a lot of volume going through, so we couldn't do that, and kind of having to find a spot upstream to bushwhack around. Walked a couple more kilometers. That was kind of planned. Bushwhacked down to the creek, and you know, we had expected kind of what we just had, was like this nice wide, deep creek and so on. And it was wide, and it was deep, but there was like the worst alder I've ever paddled through. And it's like there's a little bit of paddling going on and a lot of pulling.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But there were 3 of us. So one guy was in a solo boat. It was way worse for him, right? Because he had like a double blade paddle, and it was impossible. And yes, that was an adventure. We did like 1.5 kilometers of alder, and at some point it got denser. And we're like, screw this. You know, we did like 1.2K bushwhack. But yeah, kind of just as it was getting later in the day, like 6, 7, we got back to the creek. It was finally nice and wide and open and all that. But the only sad thing was we kind of wanted to do like one last night on Crown Land just outside the park.
Yeah.
But we didn't end up finding any Crown Land sites. And it was kind of thing. It was kind of cold and whatever else. I was like, okay, guess we're just going back to the car. But anyways, that was a lot of fun.
There you go. So you challenge yourself on that one, it sounds like, too, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best kind, you know.
Yeah. Well, that's good, man. Well, thanks for popping back into the show, giving us some updates on Maps by Jeff and everything. And I'm sure you're going to have do you have any other big plans for the summertime?
Not usually. I like doing like, especially like fall trips, because like there's less people, there's less bugs.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's my scene. So
Yep.
yeah, lots going on in the fall there.
Yeah, that's my jam too. I like no bugs especially after Naugatuck this past weekend. Oh my gosh, they were bad. They would pick you up and move you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it. Kevin, you got anything?
What? What am I doing? I'm doing a lot of trips this year, actually, a lot. I always do a lot, but so I go out in 2 days. I do my Algonquin trip with Spoonerman and Tim, and actually Chris from Novacraps is joining us, and Mike and his son, and we're doing a trip on the west end of Algonquin. We're late. We usually don't go this late. We usually go 2 weeks from now or ago, but the Canoe Museum opening, I wanted to be at, so hope to God we catch fish. If we don't catch any fish, it's my fault. Then there we go. I actually have your map. And then I literally have two days at home, and then I do something really cool. I was asked to be the keynote speaker at the graduation at Sioux College. So I graduated in 1984, and they asked me. I gotta say, I'm so excited about this. I was the worst student in the world. in high school and in college, and I'm the keynote speaker at the graduation at Sioux College. That guy that says, "Oh, you can do this," and they asked me to be there for the whole entire thing for 4 days, and pay me too. So, which is good because I don't have a job right now. So I'm doing that, and then I'm going to do a solo trip on the way back because I'm going to be up in Lake Superior, and then. Gosh, I got a whole pile of things. So, and then Christine and I are going, and what she wants to do, she wants to an adventure, and so we decided to go to the Parkway, the St. Lawrence Parkway campsites along the St. Lawrence, and do car camping, which is not my big thing, but I mean it's hers, so I'm fine with that. But we're going to stay at the migratory bird sanctuary campground. And do a whole bunch of day trips for 4 or 5 days there. And I'm a big birder, so that's exciting. And then I come back and I do another solo trip. And then I go up, and actually Christine and I go up to Lake Kipwa. I got a job. I got all these jobs. I all of a sudden I get big. I had no job, and all of a sudden I got all these jobs. People say, "Oh, I'll hire you." And I'm circumnavigating Lake Kipwa in Quebec for tourism. Because they promote it, but they don't have the campsites marked. So I'm doing that with Chrissy and the 2 dogs. I come back and I do another big solo trip by myself. And then Andy and I were to do the 3-week trip that he's not telling me where we're going, and that was supposed to be the end of June. And he changed the date. Good God, the man changes the date like he changes his underwear. So we're not doing that until the end of the season, which is fine because, like Jeff said, no bugs. No people. Yeah, so we're doing that. I gotta say, let's just say I'm out so much right now that the guy down the corner, Dave, I said, "How much to pay you to cut my lawn while I'm away?"
There you go. Yep.
Yeah,
that's a good problem to have, I guess, right?
Yeah.
All right, Jeff. Green room if you want to stick around, and we'll see you in a bit.
Thanks, man.
Jeff, put some polish on, for the love of God. Put some polish on there. It's out of control. I can't even see it.
Oh, later, Jeff. Yeah, so let's see here. We got about 10 more shows to get through. Let's see. After Maps by Jeff episode, we did an episode on the Outdoor Adventure Show. Sort of like a recap show, something that I do every year because it's one of my favorite shows to attend. After that, we did an episode with Ryan from Paddler Co-op, and he was telling us about some of the initiatives that they had to, they're doing a fundraiser to raise monies to buy the property that they are on, because I guess their lease is coming due. The owner wants to sell, so they want to be able to buy the property to keep Paddler Co-op going. And from what I understand, I follow their updates on Instagram and whatnot, but they are doing quite well. Actually, I seen Riley is in the chat there. Maybe she could put in there and let us know how close they're getting to their goals. So that's a great thing. They all have a love for that facility and what they do. And if anybody wants to donate, go on over to Paddler Co-op on their website, and I'm sure you'll find all the appropriate links there to donate to the cause, to keep such a good facility going. Week 17, we had Xander and Maxim Budnick. And basically, we were just talking about, the early days of Max and Xander, and, some of their early tripping days, and some of the successes that they're showing now with their channels. And they told us about their adventure where they went up to Nunavut. They went up there in winter, drove a Toyota Tacoma up to Nunavut, and they wanted to go up there and winter camp on an island, an icy island, and they did it, and very successful. Did you see that episode, Kevin?
I did.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Yep. I do prefer my Subaru Outback.
Yeah. You got a new ride, huh?
I got a new ride, and the day I picked it up was the day I found out I had no job, and also someone smashed into my new car at the dealership.
Man, when it rains, it pours. Yeah, when it rains, it pours. Eh?
It does.
But they fixed everything up, and you got a pretty car.
I got a really good deal.
There you go. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
The old "we're really sorry, Kevin."
Yeah. And I said, "How sorry are you?" I should have said that. I go, "How sorry are you?"
Right.
So
right.
yeah, good deal. Yeah.
Let's see here. After Xander and Max, there we had an episode on spring trip planning. Another one there that's right up there for me with winter camping. We talked about all the benefits and downfalls to camping in the springtime, and how to deal with the cooler shoulder season temperatures. How to plan a trip, and how to try and avoid bad water, because when you get the spring flow, it can be pretty treacherous. Mind you, I don't know. What do you think the spring season was this year? Like, there wasn't a lot of snow for the most part, right?
No, I mean the rivers are so low right now. I would really question. Someone wanted to do the Minas Link in August, and I said I would never even think about doing that right now in August. Right now, like even in high water, I wouldn't do it in August. But there'll be no water, especially the Tim River. Well, that's not the Minas Link, but the Tim River in Algonquin. I would give it 2 more weeks, and you'll be walking it. So,
Right.
yeah.
That's crazy. Week 19, we did the show on the allure of the Yukon. We had from Canoe the North, we had Keenan on. We had another couple on. We also had, what's his name? Mark. He's the owner of Up North Adventures. He's like an outfitter up in the Yukon. And basically, as I mentioned earlier, that was a show for me that really was one of them shows for me, because I wanted to do a bit more research on, planning a Yukon trip, which is another bucket item list for me. So that was a good show. Not as well viewed as I hoped it would be, but you know what? For me and what I took away from it, it was fantastic. So,
Well, it's because you have to be a millionaire to go to the Yukon.
yeah, but there's cheaper ways. I found out that there's an airlines, what's it called? North Air or something like that. They fly from Toronto to the Yukon for like $680 return, and they allow you to carry 2 packs, according to Mark.
Really?
So,
Okay,
yeah.
let's go. I'm going.
Yeah, right. Let's do it, man. When do you want to go? After the Allure of the Yukon show, we had Tosh Self-Propelled. We had Tosh on the show. He did a broadcast right from his van. We talked about his van living and all his adventures that he took down to the American Southwest.
Oh, that hippie. That hippie. Oh,
Right.
Yeah.
And now he's battling with
I was watching that episode. You son of a.
Yeah, well, you know what? It kind of makes you envious, eh? That's to be able to have the freedom to say, you know what, I'm just going to do it, right?
Yeah. Well, he deserves it. I mean, he fought for us. He's a Canadian soldier that now retired and doing his thing, and he deserves whatever he gets, man.
Yep, yeah, for sure, man. Tosh, if you're watching or if you watch at a later time, thanks for being on the show, man. It was always a cool thing. And it was really cool because Tosh actually set me up for the next week's show with Mitch Azaria when we did the episode on tripping the French River. And you had a nice chat with Mitch Azaria too, a whiskey fireside chat there. And for those of you that are not familiar with tripping the French River, it's one of those PBS, is that right? Public Broadcasting Systems shows. And it's now on YouTube, and it's like a 3-hour journey or 3.5-hour journey down the French River. Very, very little narrative. It's basically all these facts come up on screen, and it's really a comforting ride. Something that might be hard to sit and watch all in one viewing. But
I think it was made for people doing the laundry and doing dishes. It's a trend. I've worked with those guys for a couple of years now. For the Spanish River, the train one, and
tripping to 138.
Yeah, and they were really nice people, and it's they said, hey, this is a trend from Europe. This is what people do. They just watch a 3-hour visual of someone doing a journey. And when they asked me where they wanted to do a river and they wanted to do the Spanish, I went, but you got the big camera, and I go, that's not going to happen. What about the French? And they go, what's so special about the French? I went, the history, the scenic. So I did that, and then Tosh was the one that took him down the rapids. Beautiful comment about these the Toronto video guys. And I said, what do you think of Tosh? And they're like, he's the real deal. He didn't say much of anything except, yes, I can do that, or no, I can't.
That's
And
right. You had something to do with the consulting. You actually made it onto the credits for the
yeah,
trailer.
I worked for them for a long time actually on that. I was the consultant for where they went. No pressure there at all.
Right.
Yeah. So it ended up to be good. And they're really nice people to work with. I worked them for oh man, I'm getting tired. It's been a long day. You can tell. Look at my hair.
There we go. Graham Jordan, yes, you're 100% correct. PBS is the American network. It's the TVO, TV Ontario.
Yeah.
I apologize. Yeah, my bad on that there.
One of their best is the one last year where they go and follow the train along the north.
Yeah, it's called Tripping Train 138.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah. Oh,
I sat and watched from top to bottom because I actually I love the Bud Train, and I'm hoping this year's trip might be another Bud Train trip. So you never know. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, we had that episode, Trip into French with Mitch Azaria. And then week 22, we had the character himself, Jim Baird, was on the show. And that was a good episode too. I wanted to have him on the Yukon show as well, because we all know Jim likes to paddle the Yukon, but it just wasn't in the cards. He had something going on. So I still wanted to have him on the show. And it was a really good show, man. He's a very intelligent guy. Jim is he's very well, like he knows his facts, he knows his history, of areas. And I don't know if that comes through the research he does, or maybe he's just got one of those photographic memories that if you read or hear something one time, it sticks in there, right? You might be able to answer more to that.
No, I got to say he's a very unique individual. I got to say, because he's one of those guys where he's running into the battle with a broad axe, and he'll stab you with a knife.
Yeah, right.
What I'm getting at is he's not what you think until you know him. He's well read. He really does his facts and figures beforehand, and he's a really good family man, and he's a good dad, a really good dad.
Yeah.
Actually. And I saw that hanging around his house, not because of anything except just hanging around and seeing it. Yeah. And, he's doing really well for himself right now, and well deserved, to be quite honest. At the end of the day, he showed me what he's doing. I was like, wow.
He's putting in the work. He's putting in the time.
Yeah. So, and, Tori as well. And the kids, Tori, just solid. And he highly respects her. Like, it was nice to be with them, to be quite honest. It really humbled me and made me realize that these outdoor people aren't just a bunch of self-indulgent idiots.
Right. So, I was kind of bummed on Saturday. I think Jim had they were launching a collaborative effort between him and Muskoka Brewery, and they were launching a beer themed after him. And I wanted to stop on the Sunday coming home from Naganash to pick some up, but we got off the water too late. We would have got to Muskoka Brewery like an hour later than they closed, right? And it's like, bummer. I wanted to pick up a 6-pack and be sipping one tonight while we're.
No. It's so funny when you say that too, because when I kind of lost my outdoor ed job and stuff like that, I went to some people I know, and they said, "Hey, Kevin, like you should start selling merch." I went, "No, I've never done that. If I did, it was all to do with charity and stuff like that." And they're like, "Well, I have no job." And I went, "Well, I don't want to do a beer like Jim, because that's really smart, but I'll do a whiskey." "Well, you have to wait 12 years because it's not whiskey until
I gotta wait 12.
I went, geez.
Yeah, just take the label off that, put it with my name.
Yeah.
Funny. Let's see here. Week 23. This is a couple of weeks ago. We had the guys from Agawa Gear on the show, and we talked about the really popular Boreal 21 saw, and then it morphed into the 15 and also the 24, and now they got the ADK 27, I believe it is, the axe with the handle that comes in, so it'll turn into a full-size axe or just a hatchet. And then really cool, I got to see in the green room afterwards a cookware set that they're working on that is really hush hush. Like a lot of people know they're working on it, but nobody has any idea of what it's looking like. And I kind of got a little sneak peek, and very excited to see when that comes out, because these guys are pretty ingenuitive when it comes to creating their stuff, right? Like
Yeah, they always have been. Yeah, they always have been since the beginning. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so kudos to Brad and Graham there. Like I say, I've been a user of an Agawa saw for many years as well. I also use other saws too, but they sent me they have their aggressive blade. It's I guess it's made by some Amish gentleman that they know, and this thing, I'll tell you, man, it goes through wood like whoa. I use that up at Naganash on a weekend. It's like, wow, man, that thing just went through like a hot knife through butter, as they say, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, very cool. And then last week, which was our last regular show, as opposed, or like,
Oh yes, controversial Mr. Dennis. Holy.
yeah. Well, you know what? We had the old bear show, something that we do every year. We have a show that's sort of related to bears or bear safety in the backcountry. But there was recent legislation brought down in the States, and it's a law that brought on by the United States Forestry Services, I believe, and it's saying that in the backwater canoe area, the BWCA, you have to hang your food 6 feet out, 12 feet up, or be fined $5,000 and possible 6 months in jail.
Yeah,
or
and
you have to use like an approved bear vault type of
yeah,
thing,
and
right?
let's get Cliff Jacobson on and see what he has to say about it. And oh yeah, that show could have went on for 6 hours.
It could have. So I didn't want last week's show on the bear stuff to be just about that, but rather more of an education. And so we had you on, Cliff Jacobson and Kevin Ride from Kevin Outdoors. I see he's in the chat there.
Yeah,
And
he did a good job. Kevin did a really good. Well, we all did. Like, but Kevin did a really good job with that sort of. However, and yeah.
Yeah, Kevin has a lot of bear knowledge. For anybody that's interested, go over to his YouTube channel, Kevin Outdoors, and look at some of the bear videos he has. Very educational. It's all good stuff. They're always a very popular watch on his channel. But yeah, you know, we educated a lot about some of the do's and don'ts in the backcountry, so that you could limit your chances of encountering a bear in your camp or losing your food. So yeah, that's
I think if you really watch that episode, there was a lot of things going on in that episode, a lot more than just the bear hang. I think there was some different characters coming out of what is right and wrong. I think, yeah, rewatch it. I think that I find it really interesting about, yes, you're right, but you're wrong, or whatever.
Yeah. Well, you know what? A lot of people say it's a controversial topic because you do it one way, I do it another way. You know, like Cliff always says, put your tarp on the inside of the tent, right? I still put my ground sheet underneath. But my ground sheet doesn't stick. That's just my thing. I know that because I just went tent camping this past weekend, right? But yeah, if you sleep in a hammock, you don't have to worry about a ground sheet.
Yeah.
That's what
It's funny. Explorer Magazine asked me to do a blog on that controversy about boundary waters, which I usually do. I usually poke the bear. And I went, and I said, yeah, I'd just like to have a holiday and not write about that. We've talked about that 10,000 times over. Just be responsible when you get to the campsite and do what you think is going to be done. But the boundary waters is doing that to protect themselves. So if someone gets injured by a bear, they can say, hey, I told you to do this. That's why they're doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, oh my God, I just sounded like Cliff Jacobson.
Yeah. So yeah, that the bear special pretty much wrapped up an awesome season 5. You know what? Last year, when we come to the end of season 4, you asked me, I remember you asked me, are you doing season 5? You don't sound like you wanted to do it. And the only skepticism that I had was knowing how much work goes into it. And, you know, fully knowing I wanted to do it, but afraid of how much work it is actually to do it. And I'm glad I did it because like I say, I enjoy each and every week of doing this show. I don't like the full on work that has to go into it, and I love having you as a co-host on the show to. I think we have a good chemistry going, and you light things up, and I think it's a good combo. I don't know if everybody agrees, but if you do, put a thumbs up in the chat.
Yeah, I think that's really important to end with, is that whether you should do it or not. And obviously you're getting a little tired of it, because all of a sudden it's like every second week, and people are kind of joking, saying, well, now it's every second week. That's all makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, but everybody here, well, if you have a job, which is hopefully most people, in the morning, you have your coffee and you're going to work, and you're like, even my job, teaching at risk, whatever, and some of that, I swear to God, every morning I went,
Yeah.
but then when you get there and start doing your job, the job that you like, you're like, oh, I like this. And they're driving home. Oh, this is great. And then the next morning, so I think, what you're dealing with is normal. We all love you. We all want you to keep doing what you're doing. If you're not doing what you're doing, or you're doing it less, we're okay with it. But at the same time, you keep us connected. And I think that's vital, to be quite honest. No guilt there, but we need people to keep us united right now.
Sure. And that's why I say I plan on keeping it going. The scheduling is just going to have to change a little bit to cater to my life and the things I currently have going on. Something that's brought up here, Steve here just posted, are we getting a Canoehound Wabakimi trip video? Yes, you will be. Now that I'm going to have more time on my hands to be able to edit, it's difficult, not only work, business, family, and the show, but to try and edit videos as well. It's just not possible. You get into a phase where you just burn yourself out. We've seen many YouTubers come and go throughout the years, and they put out content, they're like pounding it out, and then all of a sudden they start drifting. It's like, hey, whatever did happen to this person? Whatever did happen to Matty the Goose? Remember that?
Oh yeah,
Right?
He was fantastic. Well, he still is.
Whatever happened to what's his name there? What's his name? Something O.
You've just proven the point right now by saying, "What's the guy? What's the guy?"
No. But you know what I mean. It's like there's commitments in people's lives, and unless you could possibly do this full time, like some people, it's rather difficult to. You could burn yourself out in an instant. We like I say, we've seen other YouTubers come and go, and it's not easy. It definitely is not easy. So, but like I say, I will be 100% not be drifting off to the wayside. I plan on doing more shows over the summer and into next season. It's just going to be a scheduling change and probably a little more sporadic when it comes to putting out episodes. And I hope everybody can appreciate that. But it's something that needs to happen. But if it does change, and if I can get a booking agent and somebody to write my scripts, and would that is any volunteers?
Oh, cry me a river, man.
No, I don't. But Kevin, thanks very much for coming on tonight and co-hosting and all the chit chat, man. You're a gem in my books, and I appreciate our friendship. And man, I really look forward to the day that we can tip a glass of scotch out there and
I to be quite honest, what happened to me recently was a good thing, a new page, because I'm going to have more time to really refocus as well. I mean, if you even look at my YouTube channel, I need to focus. I'm scattered brain. Like my writing I've always done, teaching I've always done, but YouTube was always like, oh yeah, I'll do this and blah blah blah. And I literally, when I come home from a trip, I edit in half a day, and because I'm hyper, right? So yeah, I'm going to be a lost lake. That's what
something I wanted to mention out there too, and just talking about this type of a platform and how it goes. I'm not sure how many people are aware out there that I believe that Oh, what's his name? I'm having.
These
Come on.
poor people that spent their lives doing it, and you get, I don't remember who that was, but
No. Well, somebody brought it up, Scrambled O, but our other good buddy. Oh my God, I call him my brother from a different mother, and I'm having a brain fart right now. The camping show with CW Gets.
oh yeah, CW.
I believe
Yeah.
he's all done. He's packing it in because
But he's not all done. He's got something else. Like that
Yeah,
man's
he'll have
never
something
done.
else.
That
but
man's
he-
more
he's
hyper
got
than I am. So
information. Sorry, CW, if you watch this, like I say, I'm having an old guy moment right now. But
yeah, no, CW. He won't quit. He's a drummer.
yeah, but for anybody that knows CW Gets, and if you have the opportunity, reach out and thank him, man, because he put out some really good shows and stuff like that, and he appreciates this community as well. So it's all good. So Kevin, you have yourself a great summer. Paddle a lot. We got to work on a date, and get ourselves out there on the water for sure.
I think the next time we go out, you and I will have Bouchard mustaches. And
All I got to do is shave it here.
yeah, I got to do something. You know what? No, we can't replace him. He's original. No,
Yeah. Alrighty, I got a quick little show closing statement there, and I will see you in the green room in just a few moments. I know you got to duck out to do your grading and stuff, so
I know it's my last week. My So my grades are due tomorrow, but actually I'm speaking at Guelph Library tomorrow, which I didn't think was a big deal. It's sold out. I didn't know Guelph Library was that big. Like we're talking like hundreds of people are going to be there tomorrow night, and I haven't even looked at what I'm presenting at. That's a professional that I am.
You know what? All you got to do is dig back in the brain library, and you're okay.
Yeah, I just have the Bouchard mustache. Should be fine.
All right, man. We'll see you in a few moments.
Okay. Awesome year. Way to go. You are awesome, man.
Awesome. Well, everybody, thanks everyone for sharing your Tuesday evenings with me all season long here. It's really been truly humbling, and you know what? I'm honored to that you've all chosen to spend Tuesday evenings. It's so cool to see so many common names there in the chat, and I truly appreciate it. All your comments, your participation, your emails, your suggestions for the shows are things that have made it much easier for me to put on this season. And whenever you do reach out to me, it truly does not fall on deaf ears. I get back to every comment. I get back to every email. I'm just like you. I want communication to be good, and I truly strive for that. I look forward to taking the summer off to get out and play, but I also look forward to starting up again. Like I say, it's going to be a little bit different. So please do follow me on Facebook at Canoehounds Outdoor Adventure Show, and that'll be, and I'll post it like on Instagram and stuff like that. You all know how I get my word out. I hope each and every one of you take the opportunity to get outdoors this summer and explore the backcountry, whether it's hiking, biking, paddling, front country camping, whatever it might be. And if your adventures are watching YouTube videos of people doing it because you're unable, if that's your thing, do it that way. You know what I mean? It's all you. But it's been really fun helping to build this community. You're all a part of it. You're all part of the family, and I truly do appreciate it. So to all of you that have been watching all season, thank you very much, and have a good one. Keep the adventures alive. Bye-bye now.